guys, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to our Life Baxter DLC. We are here. I think we just got back from ice cream with Derek, right? Not Derek, shit, Baxter. Time to get to work. Flowers want to arrange themselves. Scott bobbed his head, still on days, and three of them. Wait, no, it's when Baxter suggested to Miranda, right? That she should take Terry. It should take Terry out. Yeah, I can't remember. Scott bobbed his head, still in a daze, and the three of them got you up to speed with their crafting circle. The rest of the evening and well into the night was spent joking, sharing stories, and creating beautiful masterpieces. At one point, a new message in the group chat caught everyone's attention. Baxter asked for confirmation that tomorrow would be the big day out with the couple. You weren't sure if it was only in your head, but Baxter's phrasing felt a little more friendly than his prior updates. He even used a thumbs up emoji. That was completely new. See, same. Girly, I would think the same. I was like, oh, he's in a happier mood. You went to bed and hoped this might be a turning point. Things were coming together. For them, not for us. The next day you had the morning, afternoon, evening to yourself. Jude and Scott were gone until late. However, they managed to keep everyone in the loop while they were gone. The group buzzed with various updates throughout their adventures. There were a glimpse of the suit stores they were checking out, the event room they used for practicing dancing in, and pictures of the three of them presumably taking a break. Jude and Scott were thrilled in the photos, even the occasional Baxter in the background seemed pleased. And based on the updates, that wasn't for show. The wedding plans were generally going well. Meanwhile, you had your feet up, resting and recharging for the big event. You imagined Terry and Miranda spent their day off similarly. After all that hard work, the grand payoff was almost here. There was only one meeting left with the planner ahead of tomorrow. Miranda and Terry arrived at the house not long after you finished dinner. Just as things were talked about before, everybody was invited to June and Scott's place rather than the office. It wasn't long before the finances and their wedding planner, or fiancés, not finances, fiancés and their wedding planner strolled in with their spirits high. Almost everyone got settled comfortably in the living room. Jude and Scott tiredly sank into one end of the couch while Terry sat at the other. Miranda folded her leg and sat on the arm of the couch, leaning into Terry. You plopped down in the room's other plush chair. Baxter, though, didn't pull a chair aside or sit down anywhere. Instead, he remained standing, holding his notebook and waiting for his moment to begin the meeting. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone here. You've handled this stressful schedule commendably. Is this the night before the wedding? Or whatever. I don't know how weddings work. It's been excellent working with the party planning committee such as yourselves. Baxter bowed his head politely. It was clear that he was trying to maintain the wall of formality with his role as a wedding planner, but his earnest tone gave him away. Baxter meant what he said from the heart. Before comments could be made, he exchanged gears and tapped the pad of his finger to his chin. My main concern at this point is simply the partygoers enjoying themselves the day of. Though there are a few remaining details we need to get out of the way before I leave. It's minor. The room buzzed with excitement. The fruits of your hard labor were almost ready to feast on. Miranda reached across Tara on the couch and gave her brother a big high five.
So great.
I can't believe we made it in one piece.
Seriously?
You and me both. They both laughed heartily and she offered Scott a high five next. Tara, meanwhile, dropped his chin on Miranda's spine with a quiet hum. She squealed at the sudden contact and missed Scott's hand. Scott immediately shifted from the high five to making sure Miranda wouldn't lose her balance. Baxter cleared his throat to regain the room's attention. His soft expression grew more focused.
Is that fine?
As I said before, we have a few remaining details to sort out. May I? Knock yourself out, but hurry before Randy knocks somebody upside the head. I'm fine, Jude. Thank you for being concerned. Yep. Miranda resumed her seat perched on the arm of the couch, and Terry signaled Baxter to start with a thumbs up. So we had quite a productive day, as you might have seen. Scott sat up straighter in his seat and nodded confidently. He couldn't hold his thought a second longer. We got the suits. They're super. He was the man who assisted us at the store. It was a massive help finding us options that worked splendidly off the rack. And Baxter showed us some steps. He sheepishly rubbed the side of his neck and glanced at his husband-to-be. Jude playfully bumped his shoulder into Scott's side. They're so cute. This is so cute. I can't wait to see the wedding. Guess we're gonna have a slow dance.
Exciting.
It'll be delightful. Oh, you know it. From there, the conversation kept rolling. You, Terry, and Miranda listened while the couple confirmed the final touches of their wedding ceremony. And I had some additional good news to share. It's an update new to the room. Xavier sent me their progress on the cake. It's finished and will be delivered tomorrow as requested. Would you like to see the photos?
Yes.
Oh, I would have asked for a surprise. Yes, please. Sure. In a flash, Baxter had his phone out and tapped the screen. He flipped it and walked the picture around the room for his audience. The cake on display was 3 tiers, and the white frosting had rows of lines textured all the way around. All the way down, not all the way around. Piped leaves and flowers were dotted about as accents. It was understated and stylish. It's so pretty. We'll actually have a cake this well made for the reception. I seriously appreciate what they did for us. The baker did good. While the couple's words were complimentary, honest praise for an objectively nice piece, there was a problem. It was obvious the cake was the result of their former lack of synergy. The final result was as finished and not ugly and generic as Jude had insisted upon. It could have been a random stock photo Baxter found online. Scott was amazed by the craftsmanship regardless, but seeing it for himself, Jude slouched lower into the couch. It will taste as nice as it looks. Xavier's gift in the kitchen. Great. Some noticeable creases remained in Jude's brows, but still he managed to smile. Baxter nodded, and no one had anything else to add about the cake. I don't think Jude likes the cake, but Jude, you didn't give enough oomph and details, so it's gonna get eaten anyway. Everyone's not gonna remember the cake. Well, at least I would hope so for your sake if you don't like it. The conversation pivoted away. Baxter ran through the ceremony procedure piece by piece and the intended times for every moment. Much of it was familiar information at this point. However, it was crucial to have it all straight. Now, I have one last question for the couple. There's a tradition where the two being married choose not to see each other or not to have any communication whatsoever before the ceremony. Would that be something you'd want to consider? I can arrange separate areas for each of you to get ready. The men frowned nearly simultaneously. They gave each other a long silent stare. It would be hard not seeing or talking to each other at all. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And what if there's a problem? Scott's frown deepened. He lifted his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. We've got to see the thing through together. Beaming Scott. I mean, they were in a long distance relationship. I think they've been far apart from each other for a long time now. So this one wedding tradition can be broken. Beaming, Scott hooked an arm around Jude's shoulders and pulled him close. He whispered in his fiance's ear, "We're gonna throw a great wedding." I know that. Are you both feeling prepared to get married then? Yeah, we're raring to go. Jude rested his cheek on Scott's shoulder and let out a gentle sigh. The peaceful look on his face splintered. Yeah. Very good. Why do you look so sad, Baxter? Why are you sad? You should be happy for them. There was something in Baxter's tone that caught your attention. His gaze lingered on Jude. Whatever he was thinking, he kept it to himself.
It's settled.
No, it wasn't. You could read it on him like a billboard. I believe this means we can call an end to our final meeting. Wow. Is this the last time we see him? Is that how wedding planners work? You don't see them at the actual wedding? I'm sorry if you hear the laundry going. The couple got to their feet and gave their heartfelt thanks and goodbyes. Miranda hopped off the armrest and pulled Terry along too. Raising a brow, you watched as Baxter actually left. Trauma. Jude and Scott walked him to the door. You followed them. Baxter left with one last farewell and the door was shut. The day had wrapped up nicely. Everyone had done as best as they could. Yet regardless of all the signs, you remained unconvinced that Baxter had finished his planning. From there, Jude and Scott rallied themselves into one last cleaning session before bed. They began putting their house into some semblance of order. They were unstoppable. Scott pivoted and you sidestepped out of his way. In the living room, Terry and Miranda were settled on the cushions of the couch together, watching something quietly on one of their phones. They would be going home soon. The last thing you wanted was to get in the way of either power couple, but a guiding light came in the form of your phone jingling to life. Lo and behold, it was Baxter Ward, and this text wasn't for the group chat. He sent it to you directly. I'm ready for my heart to be broken again. I'm sorry for messing you out of the blue, but could you do me a favor? I need you to meet me outside. Why couldn't you text him yourself? I'm still here. I want to speak with him. Can you convince him to do that? I'm worried he might not listen, or he'd tell Scott if I text him directly. Oh, you're smart. Okay, whatever. You tapped out an answer to Baxter. No, he never replied to me. He never replied to any of my messages, because I'm sure he had to see all the messages I sent him prior. You left it unanswered, but you did what he asked anyway since it was important. Should I be petty? I'm petty. Taking a deep breath, you read Baxter's urgent text again. You could do it. You were forming an idea on where this was about to go as you slipped your phone into your pocket and got to work. Scott had moved into the living room, so that meant Jude was alone in the kitchen. Perfect timing. Fortunately, he was too absorbed in his task to notice you sneaking past. Jude stood at the sink, humming a quiet tune. He was already making a dent and washing the dishes that had piled up from earlier in the day. Hey, Jude. What's up? He didn't take his eyes off the suds. You hung back in the doorway and made sure that you were alone before inching closer. Can we speak privately outside? It's awkward. He looked at you then. But he put the bowl he finished scrubbing on the drying rack and then dried his hands.
Sure.
Lead the way. Thanks. So you were halfway through the house, you're almost home free. When Jude startled you by speaking, you stopped dead in your tracks. This is about Baxter, right? How did you blow it that bad? You're about to blurt it out, but then Jude crossed his arm and his expression morphed into something you'd expect more from Liz. Oh. Jude wasn't onto what was really happening. He thought you wanted to talk about Baxter from your own personal angle. Your conflicting emotions must have been dancing across your face because Jude dropped the protective expression for a sympathetic one.
It's good.
You can tell me about it outside. Bullet dodged. Without exchanging another word, you led him out to the front door. I tricked you, though. Jude froze only a couple feet outside his doorstep. His head snapped to the side, catching where Baxter was leaning against the side of his house.
Hello.
Hello, Jude. Thank you so much for your help, Michiko. Baxter moved off of the wall and readjusted his jacket. He grinned widely and it sent a shiver down your spine. There was something about arranging confrontation at night with an unsuspecting mark and a man in a well-tailored suit that made you feel you were now an accomplice to a crime. Local hero falls into a trap set by a devious monochromatic supervillain and all that. You coughed and turned away to regain your composure. Baxter's master plan was going to be in Jude's favor, obviously. Not that he knew that. Jude's gaze flickered between his two captors. What's going on? That's exactly what I wanted to ask. You didn't appear particularly thrilled at the end of our meeting. Jude's uneasiness vanished and was replaced by a clenched jaw. It's all good, Baxter.
Come on.
You have to do better than that. I don't believe either of us are convinced.
It's fine.
Things are as good as they're gonna be. Baxter sighed at the note of hurt in Jude's tone. He let his hands sink into his pockets. We can't even begin to find a solution or a compromise if you're not willing to discuss the issue. Jude tapped his foot anxiously. He hoped someone else would speak, but the two of you are waiting for him. It's way too late.
I understand.
I believe I have an idea what this is about, but I could be wrong. Please try me. Jude opened his mouth, hesitated, and closed it. He glanced away and scrubbed his fingers roughly through his hair.
Why not?
You're the wedding planner. He let out a defeated sigh and guiltily lifted his gaze. The problem is that cake. I screwed it up. It's our wedding. Our chance to do whatever we want, and I didn't let him, or me, do that. We only needed to talk for 15 minutes about the design and flavors and shit. It all would have been good. But me thinking that now doesn't matter, there's nothing we can do. The tirade was the longest you'd ever heard Jude speak all in a row, and the angriest. Baxter listened sympathetically. When he was certain Jude had said his piece, Baxter took a turn.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes, the cake is finished. Xavier wouldn't be capable of overhauling the design for an entire wedding cake at the last hour. Even adding new decorations isn't particularly feasible. And I can't recommend you do anything to the cake without discussing it with Scott first regardless. That's why I kept my mouth shut. The baker did what I wanted, but that cake is always going to be something I regret. Jude squeezed his eyelids shut as he admitted that aloud. Baxter's expression tightened. He exhaled through his nose. Jude, have you perhaps heard of the concept of a groom's cake? Jude cracked an intrigued eye open. He studied Baxter cautiously.
No clue.
No, what's that?
Well.
Wedding cakes are often tailored to only one half of the couple's taste. There is the cliche of a bride picking out a dream wedding and then a groom being left out of the process entirely for a reason. The situation can certainly apply to any gender couple, and sometimes it isn't a problem for a pair. In this case, you could say the wedding cake was more your choice than Scott's. Now, the basic concept is that you have the beautiful classic wedding cake of multi-tiers and understated coloring scheme as the main piece. Then there's a second cake that is smaller and often far more themed in design, something potentially showcasing a hobby, a sports-themed cake, for example, or a video cake-themed cake. It's meant to be the preference of the person who didn't get their say before. That way both people in the relationship get what they like. And adding a groom's cake makes for a much better surprise than redoing a piece that was already agreed on. Are you for real? That's a thing.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling Baxter and I are gonna make it for some reason. And it's gonna be like the whole cupcake situation again. It is. Scott and I met playing video games, or playing games online. Can we get something to celebrate that? A video game themed cake. I don't know how you can do that last minute. Your eyes flickered back and forth between them. Jude's hopeful excitement contrasted with Baxter's strained smile in a painfully humorous way. Baxter pinched the bridge of his nose. We can't ask Xavier to create an entirely new cake on short notice. While we might be able to find a pre-made one with video game accents, it would be more young child's birthday cake than most important event of your life, groom's cake. Jude began to visibly deflate, and that was the apex of this final meeting. Baxter had drawn himself outside, gotten him to open up on his feelings. Everything had proceeded as he'd requested, and it was as expected. Baxter knew this was about the cake, so he waited to hear why. The hand still in Baxter's pocket had morphed into fists, and his arms were pulling down so tensely his sleeves might have ripped off the shoulders if he was in something of lesser quality. By the looks of it, Jude wasn't the only one questioning his various choices, but of course Baxter was good friends with bad ideas. If you're truly desperate, I could do it. I could make a groom's cake. I don't know how you're gonna pull it off. Is the wedding tomorrow? If the wedding's tomorrow, that's insane. You would have to go buy that cake right now and all the icing and stuff for it. And the last time I remember, you suck at icing. But anyway, this is where we're gonna stop for today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.